Are you ready to buy a house in 2022? It is going to be competitive, and I want you to be able to compete with the best of them. So I'm going to give you my top 10 buyer strategies to have a competitive offer in 2022. I'm Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and helping you confidently buy your first home. Let's get right into it. Number one is Ribbon. Ribbon allows you to transfer your offer to a cash offer. And Ribbon is a company, they're not in every state, but you may have something similar to Ribbon in your state. So what happens is you send them your pre-approval, they'll do a little bit of research, and then they will pre-approve you for a Ribbon offer. Basically, they will put up their cash for you to purchase the home, and then either before closing, you're able to finance that property with your regular lender, or then after closing, you're able to finance it. But what it allows you to do is to submit a cash offer, and cash offers are very much favored by sellers. They're a smoother transaction. They don't have to worry about your financing falling through. So Ribbon is something that I would put at least on my list to investigate. If they don't have it in your state, is there something similar in your area? Number two, being a binding backup offer. So if your offer is not accepted, and that'll happen to you in this market, you need to offer to be a binding backup to whatever offer they've accepted. My last closing, we were the binding backup. They went with another offer, but we had a binding backup contract, meaning the seller signed our offer and accepted our offer as a binding backup. So we signed it, the seller signed it, and basically what it says is if your first offer, your first contract, the primary contract falls through, then we are automatically the binding backup. So that one falls through, the primary terminates, then the secondary contract, our contract, becomes the primary. And what's good about this is you can still continue to look for a home. You could always terminate your binding backup, but it puts you in a strong position if you're the second person, because a lot of those first offers do wind up falling through. Our binding backup was accepted 5 days before they were scheduled to close. So the original offer, the primary offer, fell through 5 days before closing. We were able to get our contract to be the primary, and we closed within about 3 weeks. So you need to look into being a binding backup. Don't be discouraged if they don't accept your first offer. Number three, remote work. Now, I don't know if there's any other time in history that remote work has become so popular. If right now you're in a traditional office setting, or you were sent home during the pandemic, now you're back at work, you really need to use some leverage that you have, especially in this labor market, to see if you can become a remote worker, because this will give you more flexibility in where you can live. And a lot of people are doing this. They're leaving their higher dollar areas or higher cost of living areas, and they're moving to less expensive areas. But if you're not a remote worker, you don't have that flexibility. So you need to see if there are any remote work options with your current employer, or look around and see if there are other companies that are more flexible that can allow you to be a remote worker, where you will have that flexibility and not have to just rely on that cost of living in that city. You could use that higher salary and move to a less expensive area. Number four, you need to find at least one of your lenders, and I recommend that you get three. One of your lenders that's willing to take you through underwriting. Because if you're taken through underwriting ahead of time before you go under contract, and several lenders do this, they will take you through underwriting before you go under contract, and you're able to do a shorter finance contingency. Because a finance contingency, when you put it in your contract, you're basically saying, I need this time to go from pre-approved to approved, and that time you're going through underwriting. If you've never seen my underwriting video, watch that. But you're going against a lot of people that are doing a 0 a 0-day finance contingency. And you may not be able to do 0 days, but what if you could do 7 days or 10 days instead of doing, sometimes people are asking for 18 days, 21 days to get them through underwriting. So you want to find a lender that is willing to take you through underwriting ahead of time, so you can do a shorter finance contingency and make your offer more appealing to the seller. Number 5, conventional financing. After cash, conventional financing is typically the most favored. So first is cash, second is conventional, and then our third would be like government loans, USDA, FHA, all of those things go there, VA. Now, if you have been denied for conventional financing in the past, I want you to reapply and see if there's an option for you, because there have been some changes. One is that they will average your co-borrower's credit score. So instead of the co-borrower not being able to qualify for the mortgage or the co-borrower using their lower credit score, they will average the credit score of you and your co-borrower and see if you can qualify that way. Also, conventional financing is going to accept your rent payments if you don't have that much credit history. So you may want to look and see if you can qualify for conventional financing, because regardless of what people say, sellers are looking at cash, conventional, then FHA, and then VA. It's unfortunate, but when you are in a multiple offer situation, that's what they're looking for. I have 5 more to go. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. Number 6, you're going to have to find something off market. So you want to have an agent that's willing to go, kind of shop you around. I have a buyer and they need this, this, and this, right? Nothing to violate fair housing, but I need a buyer that wants to be in this subdivision, this school system, this many bedrooms, this many baths. They can close quickly. They're basically going to be advertising your buyer needs in their database, in their brokerage, in any of their circles, their real estate circles, to try to find you an off-market deal. I've done a video on going off-market to win. Watch that next. Number 7, you want to look for opportunities with properties that have been on the market longer than average. You want to look at those properties that have been on the market for 1 to 2 weeks and find out why, because a lot of people are passing over those properties, and that is an opportunity for you. There are 2 reasons that properties may stay on the market longer. One is their condition, the other is the price. So the price might be too high. You may be able to, see what the actual value is and come in with a fair offer. Number 2 is the condition. And sometimes the condition could just be cosmetic, bad paint, bad carpet, bad countertops, whatever that is. You want to see if that's an opportunity for you to perhaps get some credits towards those items, or get some money towards your closing costs, because if you save money on the closing costs, you can put some money toward fixing some of those things. You want to see if there are any opportunities with those properties that have been on the market for a little while. I would say 1 to 2 weeks, but that's going to vary by market. Number 8, consider breaking your lease. Terminating your lease early comes with, you have to pay a penalty when you terminate your lease early. But if you think about it like this, we don't know where interest rates are going to be in the future. And since we don't know what interest rates are going to be, but you could basically, based on the Fed, the interest rates are going to increase. So I don't want you held hostage with your lease, because if you terminate your lease early and say the penalty is 60 days, so you have to pay 2 months of your rent. When you buy a home, you skip the first month. So if you close in February, your first payment is not due until April. So you're already going to be at least only 1 month in the hole. And then that 1 month that that you may have to pay above, then you have to think about, what if I wait till the end of my lease and the interest rates are at 4% or so, or if the prices are higher. So it's going to balance out for you, and it may be worth it for you. Look at your lease closely, but it may be worth it for you to terminate your lease and buy a house. So make sure you're not just held hostage. Well, I have 10 more months in my lease. I can't do anything till then, especially with inventory so low. If an opportunity comes up and it's a good one, you need to terminate your lease and buy the house. Number 9, new construction waiting list. New construction, they're building kind of slowly based on supply and then based on not wanting to price a home ahead of time based on, costs going up, that sort of thing. Labor shortage in that area as well. But a lot of new construction subdivisions have waiting lists. Get on all the waiting lists so you at least have an opportunity to be contacted when properties become available. Number 10, this is my last one and a very important one. I want you to make sure as a first-time home buyer, you spend some time educating yourself on the main components of a home. And when I say main components, I'm talking about the things that if they go bad, they're very expensive. So your heating and air, HVAC, your roof, the plumbing, the electric, the water heater, the foundation, and there might be some, regional things that you need to look out for as well. But those expensive components of a home, you may find that if, say for example, you have to replace a water heater, maybe that's not that expensive. Maybe it's $1,500 and people are overlooking a home because the home inspection came back, they need a new water heater. You don't want to be scared just based on lack of knowledge. You want to kind of know about those main components of a home. So if there is a home that is not perfect, but you're like, okay, the HVAC, I'm not, if there's anything wrong with the HVAC, I know that's expensive. I don't want to buy that. If there's anything wrong with the roof, I know what that costs. I don't want to buy that. But if there are minor things wrong with the roof, maybe that is something that you want to consider. So instead of paying, people are paying above appraised value, people are paying, out of pocket all this money. It could be like there's a $500 roof repair and people don't want this house. So you want to be knowledgeable about how much those types of things cost. So when you're looking at properties, you're not overwhelmed by a few repairs that might be needed. I hope this was helpful to help you compete in this market. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.